Hey there, gang. Thanks for stopping by. It is time for another comic book unboxing, and we've got a good box here. It is a box that is 2 superheroes high. But as always, I have absolutely no idea what is in this box. Got to break everything out, and that's why you're here. We're going to make that discovery together. So if you like comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby! Welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is a comic book unboxing video. So, not much for a preamble this time, other than to let you know that, this video will get posted after Halloween, but as I record this on Halloween night, we do have about 10 of the Halloween mystery boxes left. Now, they are gone from the sellmycomicbooks.com web store. They're also not on the .comcomics.com web store, but they are in the physical location of .com Comics. We moved the last few there to kind of sell those. And so yeah, if you're interested, if you want to take one more shot at it, I say one more shot at it, but to be upfront, I do know that the grand prize book is gone, and I do know that about, is it 3 or 4 of the 10 bonus books have been claimed. I know that either from people emailing me or from videos that they had themselves have posted to YouTube unboxing our Halloween mystery box series. But yeah, there's about 10 of those boxes left. If you're interested, the best way to get a hold of one is to hit up .com Comics either on Twitter at .com Comics, on Instagram where it is at .com_comics, or go to the website, which is .comcomics.com. And again, they're not on the store, but if you look for the phone number, call the phone number, talk to Dan. Dan will get one out in the mail to you. Dan is the manager of the physical .com Comics store. So yeah, go ahead, give that a shot if you're interested. If you're a fan of those mystery boxes, there are, like I said, about 10 of them left. So those will be gone this week for sure. All right, well, that said, please do like, share, subscribe, comment away, do all the groovy things, and let's get right to it. And it looks like we're going to start here in the Bronze Age with some Bronze Age Batman. And, you know, it is funny to think of it today, you know, when 40% of DC's monthly output is Batman or Batman-related. But back in the day, around this time, Batman was almost a second-tier character. And Detective Comics especially did not sell that well. It almost got canceled at the DC implosion, the infamous DC implosion of 1978. This is a little before that. This is probably around 1975. But again, Batman and especially Detective Comics was selling really kind of not well. But this is a good book, if only for the Hawkman backup story. And I'm pretty sure that, well, maybe that's a little later. I'll have to look it up. I don't want to steer you wrong, but I think this might be part of the ongoing Calculator story. One of those first kind of multi-part epics and they actually kind of snuck it up on you because each story was self-contained, but then after a while, after the Calculator fought and lost against half a dozen heroes in the back of Detective Comics, they had a lead story with Batman where the Calculator, in losing to all of those Justice Leaguers, had learned enough to supposedly defeat Batman. But anyway, let's keep right on trucking. We're not going to get through this box very fast if I spend 10 minutes talking about each one. What does this say? The Origin of Two-Face. Book value $40. Sale $9.99. So this must have, I don't think this came from a store. This is probably something that somebody bought somewhere and was in their collection when they sold it to us. So who knows how long ago that this was determined to be worth $40. I bet you that goes for about $40 on eBay though. Maybe a little better because for a square-bound book, the spine is pretty nice. I used to love these 100-page super spectaculars with all of the backup stories, a lot of them from the Golden Age. So that's actually how I was first introduced to a lot of DC's Golden Age characters. This was a great run. Now, we talk about how not well Batman sold during this period. It was selling better at this period, but this is a really classic run. And it's not a long run. It was probably only 8, 10, 12 issues. But this run by Mike W. Barr and Alan Davis with Batman and the Jason Todd version of Robin just before, well, just right around the crisis on Infinite Earths, before they changed and ruined Jason Todd. But those are some good books. Here's another one from that run. Detective Comics number 570. Did I say the number on this? You probably saw it. It's 569. There is January 87, so that's post-crisis. Barr and Davis and Paul Neary, who I'm not sure he's ever inked anybody but Alan Davis. Because I was going to say, it was the long-time Alan Davis inker, but I'm not sure what else he's done besides inking Alan Davis. It may even be I'm not sure that Paul, Neary is even a real person. He might just be a persona, a pseudonym of Alan Davis. He probably does the work himself. He pencils it and inks it, but then he has DC thinking he's two different people, so he gets two checks. I don't know if that's true. If you're the real Paul Neary, leave a comment down below. Justice League of America number 27. That's a nice book right there. Detective Comics, and this during this period, this is a little earlier. Actually, it's a little later than that other book. Yeah, it's a 25 center over here. I keep coming back to this book. This one's a 30 center. This one looks a little more retro though, but it was David V. Reed. David Verne. David Verne Reed was his name. And he's actually the guy who invented Deadshot. But he wrote a lot of the Batman books around this time. And here is another one of that same issue. This is a classic story. The haunting story. The murder that created Batman. So, I mean, if you're not sick of seeing Batman's origin... Here's a story when they didn't retell the origin every third issue in every single movie. But I think this is the one that added the component of, what's her name? Leslie Tompkins? Is that it? Could be wrong, but I think that's the first Leslie Tompkins appearance. Here's another nice Bronze Age Batman, number 456. Going back to the Silver Age here with the Go-Go checks. There's Spellbinder. The Blockbuster invasion of Gotham City. Dun, dun, dun. For a lot of people, Blockbuster was like a poor man's Solomon Grundy, but I like Blockbuster. Here's the Finn boy that always, every time I see this cover, it makes me think of that Kevin Smith movie. What was it? Finn's? Flipper? Tusk. That's it. I knew it was some walrus anatomical part. Here's a nice issue, number 356 with The Outsider. I've told you before who The Outsider is. If you don't know, look it up. It may be relevant. Is Alfred still dead in the comics? I haven't been reading Batman, so I don't know. But I sort of gave away the connection right there, didn't I? Here's Detective 354, number 335 with Extra, a new elongated man story. And Julius Schwartz has said that he invented Elongated Man. Well, he didn't invent it, but had it invented, I guess, as the editor. But he didn't know at the time that DC owned Plastic Man. Otherwise, he would have just used Plastic Man. And so can you imagine, in that world, talk about the multiverse and all the different worlds, in a world where Julius Schwartz knew that DC owned Plastic Man, and they never invented an Elongated Man, and so Plastic Man was in the DC universe and part of the Justice League, and poor old Ralph never existed. Here is 451 of Detective Comics. Two books here. Here's 446. They had gone back to that larger Golden Age-inspired logo. I guess they had in the previous issue too, but not quite in the same banner and headshot type of way. 435 with the Spook, relevant today, with it being Halloween. But the Spook appeared quite often during this period, and then almost kind of never again. I think he was a Scooby-Doo type of thing. He wasn't an actual ghost, but people thought he was, if I'm remembering that right. I could be wrong. Leave a comment down below if you know better. This actually is what Julius Schwartz looked like. I don't know if that is meant to be an homage to him, but anyway, here is the Time Trapper. No, it's not the Time Trapper. 452. The Creeper. Enter the Creeper. Creeper. Enter the Creeper. And exit the Batman. Dead. Ho, ho, ho. So there you go. This is, I don't think that's Talia. I always think that's Talia al Ghul, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Here's Batman riding a horse in a stampede of buffalo in the middle of Gotham City. So if that doesn't intrigue you enough to open that book up, pick it up off the stands and buy it. This I always thought was a nice cover. Batman in a wax museum. I'm not convinced that this is actually how they make wax statues, but at any rate, it was a death trap for Batman. Oh, nice. So the Joker has got an overpriced series now, but at one time he had his own series, and it was a tough go because of the comics code at the time. You know, the Joker had to lose because crime could not be portrayed in a manner that was that made it appear glamorous or glorified it in any way. And so the Joker had to lose at the end of every issue because every issue back then was a story done in one, as they say. And I'm just looking at the book value from 1975, which is a lot further back in time now than it probably was when that sticker went on that book. But anyway, this series is more of a curiosity. The stories themselves really aren't that good, because that's probably why it didn't sell that well. And that's just because there wasn't much that they could do at that time. This is from the classic Steve Englehart Marshall Rogers run, which I think you can get collected in a trade paperback. I'm not sure if that trade is still in print, but I think it was called Strange Apparitions. Is that right? I'll put it in the comment at the bottom of the screen if I've got that wrong. But anyway, 471, that was Hugo Strange there you saw. 100-page super spectacular, 438. Here is, wait, what the hell? Have I never noticed that before? What the hell? So there's Detective 444 and 448. That's the same drawing. Are these stories connected? I honestly can't remember. It's been 30 years since I read either one of these books. I don't think I ever noticed that before. Huh. I guess this must be a flashback because this is the way it began, so Batman must be now dealing with the ramifications. I don't know. This little J.A. right here is Jim Aparo. Swamp Thing. This is the issue that sort of fixed Swamp Thing as being in the DC universe because, see, here's Batman. Up until this point, you know, it was possible that Swamp Thing could have been just any kind of horror character because at that time DC published a lot of different books in a lot of different genres, and they didn't all always tie into one cohesive, unified universe. And so, you know, the Swamp Thing could have just existed in his own world. But with this issue, he was firmly cemented into the DCU. Yeah, we're now switching over to Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man Annual, or King Size Annual, as it were. Number 9. Number 13 with Doc Ock. All right, we'll keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. Some nice Bronze Age Spider-Man, 137. A little bit of a spine bend here. First appearance of Mobius E. Mobius. It's a newsstand edition, which is significant for this time period. Here's another issue of the Joker. Joker versus Sherlock Holmes. Doesn't matter. He still loses by the end of the issue. Again, from the Marshall Rogers, Steve Englehart run, I believe, yes, versus Clayface. Back in the David V. Reed run. Extra, Tim Trench. I'm not sure I know who Tim Trench is, other than he is a private eye. The DC salutes the bicentennial. Have you seen these? Do you know what these are? There were, I forget the number, I think it was 35. So that month, which was... Actually, this is cover dated July, so I think this was like April of 1976. Not all, but most of the DC Comics that month had this banner and a number. And if you had all 35, you could send in and get a belt buckle. It was a Superman, I was it a brass belt buckle or brass brushed or just brass plated? I can't remember. You can sometimes find them on eBay, and they don't go for a lot. And but the interesting thing is I have never seen one of these books with this top strip cut off, which is what you were supposed to do. So I don't know if all of the kids who sent in for that belt buckle were the type of kids who eventually threw the book away, or their mother or grandmother threw the book away when they moved out, went off to school or whatever. But I've never seen, all the comic books we buy, I've never seen one with that top strip cut off because it was sent in for the belt buckle. I don't know that they actually ended up giving away a lot of those belt buckles. But like I said, you can occasionally find them on eBay. You got to be a little careful, though, because there are reproductions of the belt buckle. And I think even different iterations of the belt buckle sold throughout the 70s. So it's not always guaranteed the one you're going to get is the one that was actually part of this promo. There's the Spider. Later they would call him just the Spider, because there was a time when and I don't think he was initially revealed to be black, but then he was. And there was a time when it was considered racist to call your black character Black something. Black Panther, Black Lightning, Black Goliath. Again, Black Goliath became just Goliath, and Black Spider became just Spider. Here's 465. That looks like the Alfred of the TV show. That looks like, what is his name? Napier? Was that his name? Something Napier? And so I'm not sure if that's supposed to be Alfred or Commissioner Gordon. Oh, it is. I say, okay, Gordon. So that is supposed to be Gordon. I still say it looks like Napier. This is a good book. I can't guarantee, again, because it's been 40 years since I read it myself, I can't guarantee the story holds up. But that's a great cover, I think. And that was one of the first, I can't remember if it's the actual first, but one of the first Batman books that I bought off the stands, like making my own purchasing decisions with my own $2 weekly allowance. Which $2 went, pretty far when the comic books were 30 cents, 25 cents. But with an allowance, making my own purchasing decisions wasn't just a book that was bought for me by mother, grandmother, somebody. And this book just jumped off the stands to me. That was just, I thought at the time, just a dynamic classic cover. So that is the Signal Man, who you don't see much of today. Here's Detective 467. This is quite a little bat box. This is the culmination that I told you about of that Calculator series, where he fought each of these heroes in the backup story and got defeated, as it turns out, on purpose, just so he could fight Batman. But why would you have to go through all of that if you had a costume that you could punch a number and a crane would come out of your head? Oh, the Bronze Age. You must love the Bronze Age. This was another book that really turned me on as a kid. I mean, not sexually turned me on, but, just got my gosh, wow, boy, kid juices flowing. Because that cover was creepy AF. Dr. Phosphorus. Yeah, that's a cover that really caught my attention when I was, when was this? 77, probably. So I would have been 9, turned 10 towards the end of the year, but I would have been about 9 years old when this came out. Yeah. The sad part is not many 9-year-olds read comic books today at all. And now, the other thing about this time period, when you bought comic books off the newsstand, you didn't always get every issue of every book because newsstands would sell out, And it took me a while to get hip to the fact that comic books came out twice a week back then, Tuesdays and Thursdays. They would hit the newsstands. And I usually didn't get to the local store, which I think around this time would have been Joe's Smoke Shop in Waterville, Maine. Until like a Saturday. And so sometimes the books that came out on Tuesday would already be sold out. And sometimes even the Thursday books. So this second parter of that story, and back in this time frame, a two-parter, you know how today a story will go on for 8, 10, 12, 15 issues. But back then, they were either done in one or at the most like a two-parter. Um, it was several years, maybe even a decade, before I eventually got the second issue, got the conclusion to the story, because I missed it when it first came out. And back then, before the internet, before eBay, before comic book stores, before comic book conventions in central Maine in the mid-'70s, you missed that book when it first came out, brother, you were done for. They didn't even have trade paperbacks then. This is also part of the Englehart Rogers run, I believe, as is this one. That's 473. That last one was 472. Here is 477. I'm hoping we're going to see the Jokerfish cover, but I thought there were two in there. Here is some more Clayface. And I guess that's it for that. I was hoping we were going to see that classic Jokerfish cover. Well, we're now into Strange Tales, number 155, 150. These aren't very high grade, unfortunately. There's another one. That one's a little better. Although, got some damage up there. First appearance of Bishop. That was for a long time. That was, and like until recently, like right up until COVID, that was a $2, $5 book. I kept telling the boss, quit putting these in the singles box. Put them in multi-book lots. They don't sell. But now it's getting so that is a $10, $12, $15 book. It's done well the last few times we've posted, and we've got about one in every box. Here's another X-Men 268 with the supposedly classic cover. X-Men 193, that's what is that? The first Hellions? The first, what do you call himself? Thunderbird's younger brother, Warpath? Something like that. 191, I think that's the first Nimrod. Here's part of the classic Year One story by Frank Miller and David, I'm going to try it, Mazzucchelli. And you haven't heard his name, haven't seen his name. I hope he's not dead. As soon as I left my mouth saying you haven't seen his name for a while, I could just envision one of you putting in the comments below, that's because he died 10 years ago. Sorry, I don't know whatever became of David Mazzucchelli. Here's the second appearance of Omega Red, and that we always see the number 4. We don't often see the number 5. Galactus, the origin in Supervillain Classics number 1, ended up being a one-shot. For the first time in one volume, the Lee Kirby masterwork. So it's a reprint. Here's part of the Big Head Month at Marvel. I can't remember what this was celebrating. Was it Marvel's 30th? 61's 2 stream? No, that wouldn't be right. I forget what that was celebrating. Something, but that month, every cover, and again, this is when you had one cover, not 12, had a big head surrounded by, it makes me think of Sergio Aragonis from Mad, who always did those border drawings, but that's not Sergio. Here's Amazing Spider-Man 285, Gang War Part 2, with a nice Mike Zeck cover. This is part of the classic, so classic I forgot the name of it. Something Craven's Last Hunt, that's what it is. It's pretty bad. Forget the name of the classic story. Yeah, that's part of it as well, and that's a nice cover, by the way. I think that's a cool cover. So this is Demolition Man, and I wasn't reading Captain America at this time. I can't remember why, because I do like Mike Zeck. But this guy who was wearing a classic Wolverine costume, well, kind of a cross between Wolverine and Daredevil, but his name was, well, it's D-Man. But not D for douchebag. I believe it was D for demolition. I think. Anyway, I can't remember what the deal was with him, if I ever even knew. And here is that's a nice cover with the, what was his name? Battlestar. That's it. Is that right? Not yet. Maybe I'm thinking Battlestar Galactica. No, I think his name was Battlestar, the guy who was sort of the briefly Bucky, and then became his sort of own thing, and that is the John Walker Captain America. As is this. That's part of that classic storyline that was immortalized on Disney+. part of the Death in the Family story. These bags are stuck together. I got to be a little careful here. So there's the first part, Mike Mignola covers. That's the second part. And this is the fourth part. We don't have the third part. The third one is the one where Jason Todd actually dies. This is nice. The Tick Special Edition. So the deal with Tick, New England Comics was an actual comic book store. Probably still is for all I know. But they used to publish like an in-house kind of comic for their customers. And what is his name? Epland submitted something and they published it. I think I'm remembering this story correctly. It's just, it's such a humble, inauspicious beginning for something that, now granted, none of the TV series have ever survived really more than a series. The most recent one I thought was really good. I enjoyed it. Can't remember what streaming service it was on. Prime, maybe? But for something that grew that big, that far, I mean, granted, the Tick isn't as big a household name as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So big a household name I could barely say it. Having a little trouble with this video. But anyway, it's just kind of neat. So the first few issues were kind of, with the Tick, were just kind of an in-house thing, an in-store thing. They really weren't distributed. They were just sort of published, if I remember that correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. If you know more about the Tick, let me know. And I don't know, should I stop there or should I keep on plugging away? I think we'll do this last little stack here, and then I'll do the rest of the books in here that are in bags, and then we've got a bunch that are unbagged, and I don't know if those are going to be older or not. But here's Year 2, Part 3, with a Todd McFarlane cover. That does well for that reason. Thor 387, I'm not sure what the big whoop is here. This is sort of a dollar book run. It's normally where you would find these books. This must have something to do with the Eternals. Silver Surfer #1. I think that's the second or third #1. I think it's actually, yeah, the third #1. X Factor, we've seen that many, many times. Oh, look. The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Falls. So that's the fourth issue, I believe. Book 4. Yeah, right there, book 4. So you always want to check these on the inside. It should tell you what printing it is. There's another 4. And the covers are all the same. Oh, here's Akira #3. That's creepy. That'll give you nightmares. I don't know anything about Akira. If you like Akira and you want to try explaining the appeal of it to me, do so in the comments below. This is part 1 of the Year 2 story with the cover by Alan Davis and Alan Davis working as Paul Neary. Let's see if I can get that rumor started. see if that'll take hold. Here is part 1 of the Year 1 story by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli, who may or may not be dead. Miracleman, why is number 15 in here? What's the whoop with 15? I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Marvel Tales. This is a reprint. Marvel Tales reprinted usually it reprinted Amazing Spider-Man, but sometimes it reprinted other things. So this is reprinting the story from Marvel Team Up 65 that featured the first U.S. appearance of Captain Britain. And also beginning an all-new Spider-Ham series. So that's exciting. Maybe that's what makes this book a big deal. Web of Spider-Man #1. That's another one we see about one of in every box, sometimes 2 or 3. You might remember a few boxes ago we saw about 15. And this is something to do with Eddie Brock. I forget what. But there you go. That's it. Well, it's not. I almost said it's everything in the box. It is not. I lied to you. That's about 3/4 of that box. We've got the rest. The rest is still to come. And as I look at these, the next box is going to be different. Those are some older books. So I won't do like I did to you last time and trick you. I will tell you right up front. We're going to finish this box next time. So for that, come back tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. That will be uploaded and ready for you. But until then, whenever we meet again, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.